Hey everybody, it's Andy. Welcome to what feels like a daily show, or soon to be, I think, where I'm going to help you build a career you love. So welcome everybody. It is Thursday. We are in my normal live office hours slot. I am excited to be here. I'm a little afraid of the rain that's going on outside my house, as are my dogs. But luckily my wife is home caring for them, little scared little puppies. And I'm hoping that everything looks good. My stream doesn't look great. Uh-oh. Hang on. I'm going to have to refresh my browser, and I need to make sure that I don't lose the chat. So I'm popping out the chat. And I'm popping out the chat. Hang tight. I knew I was going to have some issues today. Hold on. I'm guessing you can probably see me. I think it was just my screen locked up. There we go. I like to see myself and make sure that you can see me and that I can see what you're seeing. It's like a little spaceship over here. Okay, I think I got everything, and I think I can restore the chat. I think we're all good. Okay, real quick, while everybody shuffles in, I'm Andy, you're you need help, you have problems, you have aspirations, I'm here to help you. I got 6 quick announcements. One little note card today. See, it says, appreciate boot leader goal book out of. Okay, I'm going to run through these really fast. I probably will hit them a couple times. We're on for a good solid hour. If you didn't get the memo, I love you guys so much, and I'm feeling very zen. Can you see this? I'm feeling like we're very in stride. We are very in sync. I very much appreciate you. So the other day, I decided that we should spend virtually all of next week together, or at least I will make myself available to you every single day at this time slot, Monday through Thursday. That's the first thing. It's my way of saying thanks. I know summer can be a tricky time to job search or to find those great career projects, so I'm going to be here for you. That's number one. Number two is if you want to see me every day next week, you can join my job search bootcamp. We just had a great promotion, and we're doing 5 Fridays in a row of live private coaching. Those are a couple of hours each. I teach a little bit because the entire program is recorded with all the bonuses and all that great stuff. If you missed the promotion, the bootcamp is now $597, but if you email support@milewalk.com and ask Kara really nicely, I'm sure she can find a $100 off coupon for you to get in the game with us. So that's going on. Maybe Kara can throw up the bootcamp page, but make sure, because you come to these sessions, you're my insiders. I'm happy to give you the $100 off. Okay. I just did a leadership monthly live coaching session yesterday. Yesterday. I have a monthly leadership mentoring program. We've been going now 5, almost 6 months. So that's 5 lessons. Yesterday's was on persuasion and how do you create a persuasive argument or a pitch or an ask or whatever. There's 7 vital components. I took everybody through the sequence. We worked some case studies. It's really great. If you jump into the leadership program, you get that and all the other stuff on building confidence, focus, and a bunch of other stuff that we've gone through, making great decisions, and there's a bunch of other stuff. So you get all of that. You can get in there on a month-to-month, which is $49, or I just started an annual subscription, which cuts that rate in half over the course of the year. For $24.50 or $297 in a one-time payment, you can jump into that. So Kara can throw that up. I have a goal-setting masterclass that I am going to be creating and selling. It'll be a couple of $100. The reason that I want to kind of throw this out to you guys right now is August 20th, 21st, and 22nd, I will actually be conducting the recording / filming of the training session, course, whatever you want to call it, live. You are welcome. All of you can attend for free. We'll be doing it via Zoom. I probably will be live streaming it to YouTube perhaps as well. But if you want to engage with me, ask me questions and all that good stuff, you got to register for it. It'll be free. And then there'll be an opportunity to grab the recordings if you want them, but you can come for free and you can see me do it. I will actually have an agenda in advance that you can download and look at. Gonna be a ton of fun. And as you can imagine, with all of that stuff, that workshop style thing that we're gonna do, there'll be opportunities for you to get more familiar with my leadership stuff. Let's see, the Interview Intervention book, this is still free. It will be as long as there's ink in the world. So you chip in $7, you can get this anywhere in the world. There's some other huge bonuses. Kara, can throw that link in as well. And this book here, we order by the thousands each time I put an order in every few months. It's a very popular. I've been giving it away now since around April or May of last year. So I don't know what that is, 14, 15 months or so. This book, I don't know if you guys are familiar with my Out of Reach but Insight Using Goals to Achieve Your Impossible book. It is my motivational book around goal setting, how to view goals, how to achieve them, and all that good stuff. I just sent just an initial run from the publisher to the distribution center of 500 copies of these. And for some of you that have been with me a while, I did a book launch group, private group with the Interview Intervention book. We're going to be doing the same thing with the Out of Reach book. So be on the lookout if you want to get in on this. I create a private group. I do some extra coaching. I think I'm gonna sign all these books and send them to those people that are on that team, wherever you are in the world. And so be on the lookout for that. So a lot of fun stuff coming. Okay, 5-minute intro. Get in, say hi. Let me know where you're from. Let me know what you need. If you got any questions, put some question marks in front in the chat, and let's go with Kevin. And great to see you, Kevin, bright and early. Hey, Andrew, really appreciate that you do this. I need resume tips for director level positions. Does your template work for that? Yes. Yes, final answer. No explanation necessary. No, the style that I have is for executives and everybody else. The only caveat I would throw out there about my resume template, it covers professional, commercial, mostly, positions. Now, if you're a blue-collar worker, you can use it too. If you are a commercial worker, you can use it. If you are an academic or a doctor or a lawyer or a researcher or somebody whose position in industry or profession calls for a more CV-style resume, which is typically longer, many more pages, usually because you want to include all of your research and publications and authoring and all of those other good things that you do, that CV style is a little bit different. Otherwise, it makes no difference if you are the CEO or an administrator. You can use it. They're not really different animals. They really are not. How can I adapt your template? You don't need to. Just take it. Okay, final answer on that. Paula, how are you? In case I'm not able to hear at 11. Just want to thank you for all your hard work in helping others reach their goals. Paula, that is what I was born to do. And I'm not stopping. I won't. I will not quit. I will quit a lot of things, but I will never quit what I feel I was meant to do. I hope none of you do either. So there's a huge difference. I have no problem with people quitting. Quit the stuff you shouldn't be spending a lot of time on. Quit the stuff you shouldn't be doing. Quit the stuff that's sucking all the energy out of you. Quit the people who are doing that to you. Quit. But please stay focused on the things that matter to you and the things you were meant to do. So Paula, I will be here for you. Nick, Nico, Andy, a curved one for you. How to approach resume bullet points when you have a confidentiality or ND agreement. Nick, that's not a curveball at all. Saying what have been achieved in what time frame and by doing what HR treats as a breach. Also for a position of business. Okay, hang on. Let's first things first. Nick, hang on. I got to take a sip of my tea. For anybody in Nick's case who has either signed a confidentiality agreement that they will not in any way disclose corporate information, things that they've done, accomplishments, any projects, whatever it is. And, or perhaps you are a contractor that's working for various companies and they would like that you not reveal their specific name on your resume or any information that you circulate, like your LinkedIn profile or whatever. All you need to do is you could remove the company name. You could put large manufacturing organization. You can put, you don't need to, you can reveal stats and all that other kind of stuff if you'd like without actually giving the names of the organization away. You don't need to give the project names away if you don't want to. It's very simple. Just remove that. Now, I don't know that I've ever actually seen or really think that anything can be upheld if you work for an organization. Let's say you work for Coca-Cola and they say you have an NDA and you can't show anybody anything that we've ever done. There's absolutely nothing that you would put in a resume that anybody actually would consider super confidential information. You really are not. The level of insight that needs to be attained in order for anybody to actually do anything with that insider information is really low level. So I would not be too concerned. I have looked at millions of resumes. I have talked to tens of thousands of people. I have never come across anybody who actually had to truly withhold all of that stuff. There's ways that you can package it. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. And then you said, also for a position of business analyst, can you give me some examples for a resume bullet point, as I do not have any feedback how programs that I developed were implemented and performed? Nick, get my career achievement journal. Just Google LaCivita Career Achievement Journal. It'll come up. There's a video out there about this tool, get promoted with this resume building tool. Don't worry about the title of the video. That's what it was. That's where I think I first gave that away. That will help you wrap your mind around the content that needs to go into the bullet. Then what you need to do is you need to actually go watch my bullet point video. Go to my YouTube channel, type bullet point in there, and up will pop a video about how to write the perfect bullet point. Just follow that formula. And from a business analyst perspective, I don't know what you did. You probably gathered requirements to identify solutions, process flows, work breakdown structures, whatever it is that you did as a BA that ultimately fed the implementation of some type of process re-engineering solution or processes that were re-engineered or optimized that went into a technology implementation. That's typically what a lot of business analysts are doing, one or the other or both. So I would look at those two and you will be able to come up with your answers. Okay, cool. Adam Stark. Adam, you are like tried and true, man. You are here every single time. I love it. I hope you're well. I am. Do you have any advice about researching companies and asking questions in the interview process to find out casually if they'll meet my happiness needs? Adam, I wouldn't do anything casually about that. Check out, I think I gave this to you last week. How to Choose the Right Job will help you create the list of needs and then watch 3 Keys to Ace Any Job Interview. That's a webinar. It's free. It'll talk to you about how to ask your questions. All you need to do is create the list of needs, watch the webinar for how to ask the questions, and if you are really smoking, this guy here, for anybody who actually grabs this, when you get this book, the book gets mailed to you, but you get the ebook and the audiobook. In the ebook of this book, there are 39 questions to ask. You can do a little mapping of the questions I've given you and the questions and your needs. The other thing that comes with this, if you don't have this already, is an extra ebook that we wrote that has 75 questions in it. It's called How to Interview the Employer, 75 Great Questions to Ask Before You Take Any Job. Get this and map it up. So which questions you should be asking should go along with the things that are important to you. So that's what Adam's getting at with his happiness needs. Those are his requirements of what's important to him. So those would be my suggestions. I think we talked about that last week, but I would go after those 2 things. And Kara, maybe what we can do, can we put the book link in the chat if we haven't already? Maybe put it again, and also the 3 Keys webinar. And if you are not familiar with the Mile Walk Academy, there are, and this is good for everybody to know. So I don't know how many first timers we have here, but I have 3 webinars that are recorded webinars. Those recorded webinars are how to find a job you love, it's 10 steps. Then there's one called 3 secrets to get your resume noticed. Then there's another, that's about resume. Then there's another one about interviewing called 3 Keys to Ace Any Job Interview. All of those webinars are recorded, and you can watch them at your convenience. You do not need to sign up for 11 o'clock on a Saturday to watch it. So you go into the page, you just go to the Mile Walk Academy, scroll down to the thing that says recorded webinars. You can knock your socks off. You can sign up for all of them. We send you an email. Then there's a button that says watch it. Now, the one thing I do want to say about those recorded webinars is each one is about an hour, and then I talk about my job search bootcamp at the end. But I don't even make you wait for the sales pitch to give you your free download. But our system is set up, because I'm not sitting there with you going through this, but the system is set up for a button to pop up. So if I've offered you a sweet giveaway, which I do for each of those, there's a different sweet giveaway. You got to wait until the teaching portion is over, about 50 minutes, give or take, or an hour, or whatever. It's a solid hour of teaching. So, but if you run it at twice the speed, if you do all that nonsense, if you close your browser, the button's not going to come up. So make sure you watch it through so you can get that. All right, so I hope that helps. And Kathleen, great to see you. Always love having you. And Steve G, my Canadian friend, hope you are doing well. Evelyn O, my boot camper. Kathleen's a boot camper. I love what I see my boot campers here. Melanie's a boot camper. Evelyn O, what do you need? You're at a job 6 months and now leaving because it wasn't what they told you it would be. In a job interview, if you're asked, why are you leaving after only 6 months, how should one respond? Okay, excellent question, because it's tough. It's tricky to answer. So here's what I would do. If any of you have been at a job for a short period of time and something like this comes up where, it didn't work out, they switched up the responsibilities, it wasn't really what you thought you were signing up for, that's totally legit. Okay, so Evelyn, in your case, I think that this happens. All right, and employers recognize this. There's two things you got to consider when you're answering that. The first one is you need to be able to explain it and just the history of what happened, and you want to do that quickly. But the other thing about this that employers are looking for is taking responsibility, holding yourself accountable. That's what wins the response. Okay, so I'm going to be real specific here. So I went into this company, I was interviewing, I was very excited about the opportunity. I interviewed based on this job description and what I thought the role was going to be. And based on my investigation and based on what we discussed in the initial interviews, we were in sync, and I was signing up to do that role. Shortly thereafter, the role changed to something other than what I joined for. So the first thing that I tried to do was adapt to that. Okay, so first thing is I made an effort. To try to, be flexible and roll with it, right? Because I signed up for this and I evaluated the company, so I wanted to be flexible and adaptable, and I did my best to try to get in sync with the role. But as it turns out, it's just not for me. I take responsibility for that. And perhaps I could have asked better questions in the interview process to elicit information that this might be a possibility or this could happen, but I just didn't see it then. Now I have a much better appreciation, and after trying it, I recognize it's best for me to move on, which is why I'm now entertaining other options. Okay, so you got to take responsibility for it. Employers get it. This happens. So it's the way in which you respond to it. I tried, but I recognized that this wasn't going to work long term, and I think it's better for me to move now than to stay there and be unhappy. And I also think it's better for my employer so that they can find somebody that's more suitable for that role. So talk positively about your employer. You didn't say anything bad there. They just changed for whatever reason, okay? And you tried to make it fit, but that's just not in your wheelhouse. That's it. I take responsibility for that. And now I also take responsibility for making sure that I'm working with them to move on and so that they can replace it. That's it. And I would not over-explain it, but you need to get in. You own it. All right? That's a big, big deal. If you start talking, so here's the mistake. If you start talking about your employer and about how they hoodwinked you and how, they falsely advertised or they completely changed the role without notice, like any of that stuff connotates that you're dishing responsibility to them. Now, while you and I both know it is their issue, probably, if they changed the role, right? But did they equip you to be successful? And or maybe you just didn't love it. Maybe they didn't equip you to be successful. It could be any number of reasons, but I wouldn't keep beating up on them. I would try to do it as neutrally or positively as possible, and then I would move on. That's what I would do. I hope that helps. And Evelyn's a booty, and oh, Denise is a boot camper. Oh, I know. You missed me in California. We had so much fun. We got to get you next time, and I know you put something in the system the other day, young lady, and I will get to it. It's been a crazy nutty week, but I will respond to that. All right. Oh, maybe this is it. Oh, maybe this would be even better because then I can give it to you live. All right, Denise got a question. I'm doing the networking challenge and got a connection from someone in my dream company. My goal is to expand my network. Is it a good idea to send a thank you message to my new connection? Denise, it is always a good idea to send a thank you. I appreciate your time. I look forward to continuing the relationship. I would not only send the thank you, but I would send a thank you with planting the seed for what the follow-up or the next step should be. And because you are a boot camper, you have access to the networking templates. Take those, whatever fits, massage it for what you need, but make sure it's a thanks and what's the next step and when should that next step occur. I will contact you in 12 weeks. It'll be, let's get together in the fall around October for whatever, like be specific. And then hopefully he or she will respond and, you'll roll from there. Okay. Love it. Kat Harrison Peterson. Yes, you are collecting Mile Walk Academy medallions. I love it. My little boot camper leader there. Wayne's email. I love that. You know what? I got a great email today. I didn't get I was hustling, and I get this email, and the email address is do not spam me at gmail.com, something of that nature. And I open it up, and a lot of people, they put emails like that when they download stuff from me. And I open it up, and then I always look at, is somebody going to say F you to me or you're a shithead or whatever they're going to say. But this was one of the nicer emails, and I only glanced at it, and I was like, ooh, I got to go back and read that after the show because it looked like it was really nice because somebody must have used my stuff to get a 25% pay increase, and I love it. And I don't know if that guy's here today, but it's really kind of funny. But Wayne's email, hi, Andy. Best way to handle offer negotiations, and is there a standard for things like PTO? Wayne, I have an entire salary negotiation playlist on my YouTube channel. My answer for you is go check that out, and it will give you how to handle a negotiation. There's actually a little video out there about how to negotiate your offer. Okay, so there's one of those. It's a little bit of an older video. I've got newer videos that talk about just the negotiation process in general and everything you should be doing up to that negotiation process so that you get paid the maximum. To answer your PTO question, there is absolutely no such thing as standard in anything. So any of you that, and I know, Wayne, you didn't really get into this, but I just want everybody to know. you got a salary and maybe a bonus structure and a PTO structure and a 401k plan and maybe some profit sharing or restricted stock units or phantom stock or whatever. Car allowances, telephone reimbursements, whatever, internet reimbursement. There is no such thing as an apples to apples comparison when you go from one company to another company. So when you start doing things like, well, my old company used to match 50 cents on the dollar up to 6% and this, employers don't want to hear any of that garbage. They want to understand, yeah, you have other things that went into your pot, and we want to make sure that we're putting a good compensation package together for you. But at the end of the day, you got an opportunity, you got a compensation package, do you want it? You know what I mean? That's the way you got to look at that. And I do want you to take stock of what you have. And as a matter of fact, if Kara is really on her toes, Kara, if you are really on your toes, you will put a link in the chat to my one-page financial guide of how to assess your financial worth. And basically, it allows all of you to simply open up this check. It's not a check, it's like a table. Actually, there's some instructions. It's like 2 pages. It's like instructions and then a table, 1-page table. And then you fill in everything you have so that you got it nice and tidy. Nice and tidy. So let's see if she's on her toes. Because that one we don't circulate a ton, but it's out there on my blog. So if she, let's see how good she is. All right. See, I love this. Kat is asking Steve if he's in the leader group. Steve, you need to be in that leadership group. That is so fun. And yesterday, they all made fun of me, which is totally fun. Charles Benjamin, Mr. LaCivita, thank you for doing this. You are welcome, my friend. I'm just wondering where in the near future you might be doing another resume writing masterclass. I'm a retired vet overseas and would like to plan for it. Charles, couple things. Number one, all my vets, that's military vets out there, I have a booklet. It's a little outdated, but it's still pretty good. And the really important stuff will always apply. I almost would never have to update it because it's tried and true. I have a booklet called How to Go from Military Veteran to Civilian Professional. I wrote it a few years ago. If you go to my blog, you can go to the Mile Walk Academy website. There's a little blog up there. Just click the blog. It'll take you to actually my WordPress site. But basically, go to my blog and just type military in the search bar. It'll pop up. That's first. Second thing is the resume writing masterclass is only something that I do about once a year, but it's awesome. Now, I offer it free once a year. However, for $49, it is the best $49 you will ever spend because you get everything. Everything. You get the instruction. You get bonuses, you get the booklets, you get the word templates, you get how to write everything, you get everything. Everything, you get the journals, you get the workbooks, you get the workbook with the instructions and the topics to write about in each section of the resume. It is ridiculous. So for less than $50, you can have all the stuff right now. And Kara, maybe we throw that link out. We don't advertise it. But so many people had missed the live event last time. We did this a few months back that I decided, because it really gives a lot of stuff away. But I thought, all right, you know what? Let's try to make it so that I can package it into the system. People can access it, have it for life, and for our maintenance cost, it's less than $50. It's a steal. And you know what? I get emails from people who then they discover this. They send me emails about how sick they are from all the money that they spent on resume writers and other people's resume programs. And they said, this thing that you give away for free often, but now only charge me $49 is the best thing I've ever seen. And I wish I would have found it sooner. I get that one a lot. So Charles, check that out. I realize it's still a little cost, but I basically sell that for $297 in my Build Your Ultimate Professional Resume course. So, it's a pretty sweet thing. It's pretty sweet. RYA. Boot camper here. Who is that? Oh, Rosemary. Maybe that's you, I'm guessing, because you said the RN thing. Bootcamper here. I've done lots of workflow projects for free. In addition to my current roles, I noticed a promotion in my department, but director has not reached out. Best way to address this, go to the director. Rose, go straight up. I don't know, him or her, whatever. Go and say, I want this. And here's why I need to get the job. I'm big on that. Just go. Just go. Walk down the hall and walk across the campus, whatever you got to do. Wendy Bader, how are you? Hi, Andy. Do recruiters use LinkedIn to find candidates? Yes, always. Or does it depend on the sector? No, never. Everyone. Recruiters are so lazy that 99% of them just sit behind their computer screen and they surf LinkedIn all day. That's what they do. Okay, that's corporate recruiters, if they even do that. And then that's executive recruiters. That's what they do. Nobody uses this thing anymore like they should. Okay, so yes, have good LinkedIn profiles. And Wendy, what I would say to you is, if you go to my YouTube channel, type LinkedIn in the top. Type LinkedIn in the top in the search bar on my page or on my YouTube channel, and you're gonna get some how to get noticed on LinkedIn's, and those are good to watch because it talks not just about the kind of stuff you need to have in your LinkedIn profile, but how to actually get noticed, how to really raise your coming up at the top in the search results. So how to be found. But it's an active. I break it up into static and dynamic things that you should do. So static, how you set it up and leave, and then dynamically, what do you do to make people bounce to you? By the way, if you guys are loving this, I forget to say this. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel so that you can get alerted when I go live. When I post the new videos every week on Tuesday. You can come to the live shows. I'm going to be doing some ad hoc stuff pretty soon. And then if you're liking this, click the little like button, the little thumbs up guy. YouTube seems to like that. Amy K, how you doing? Kirsty B, one of my boot campers, how are you? Dave Weston, who I think really has a different name. All right, hey Andy, any advice on keeping my answers in interview concise? I find it hard not to go off on tangents. Dave / your other name, I think that's you. One of the best things that you can do is, like Adam, go watch 3 Keys to Ace Any Job Interview. Okay? Get the Interview Intervention book. If you have those already, and I think you might, it's hard to remember who has what. But one thing that I always recommend is that you think through your stories of the most common, those questions. In the Interview Intervention book, there's a chapter called my Silver Bullet Interview chapter. In the chapter, there's 14 questions that I think are the home run questions. If I could ask those in an interview to you, and you would answer them for me, I would have 85% of what I needed to know to determine if you were a good fit for my company. The only thing that I would not have is the specific trade skill or domain knowledge that all of you have as experts in your profession. Those are separate questions. If you can go through those questions, and by the way, it's not just 14 questions, it's 14 base questions, but then I give you all the variations of those questions, which totals up to like 43. Basically, I've covered everything in that chapter of what you could be asked, aside from the domain skills stuff. Package up your responses, look through them, see what's superfluous, what isn't. The problem for people who are verbose or run off on tangents is they know and they have all this insight and stuff that they want to share. So what I tend to do in those cases is I'd have you talk to somebody else who's unfamiliar with what you do. Get a friend, a spouse, a partner, a brother, sister, whoever, and talk through some of the areas that you know you're going to have to go through. To tell me about yourself. Why you want to leave your current company, or why did you leave? Why do you want to work here? So what value do you bring, or what makes you unique? So on and so forth, and then go through that, and then ask the person, if the person says, well, geez, I didn't need to know that. That's cool. I still understood. I still followed. And then start trimming back. It's a little extra work, but it helps. Sam, how are ya? Oop, dang. Sam, how you doing? Yeah, Steve, it started and froze. That's what happened, and you just refreshed. The problem with refreshing for me is if I refresh the page, a lot of times I will lose the chat, and then I will only have the chat from the moment I refreshed it, and we don't want to lose your questions. Thank you, brother from another. Dinesh, you're back. How you doing, buddy? Jason Garrity, hey. Hi, Fawn. Been a little while. Anna Goldman from the other side of the pond. How you doing there, my fun little UKer? All right, let's see. CC. Hey, Therese, Minnesota. Melvin. Tim. Hey, anybody? Some of you guys, I know you're here week in, you're here week out. A lot of you are in my programs. If you're a first timer, put little first timer badges on there, and then you only get one chance to do that, and then we'll give you a big hug and a shout out and all that good stuff, and then I'll embarrass you and all that. Just Jassany Shante. Bradley Garlic from Texas. That's a new one. Robert Eric Weimer. I sent my resume in, did exactly as you said, watched every video, and no replies after 3 weeks. Okay. I can't tell you what gives, but I can tell you this. Did you put, Robert, what you didn't tell me is you said you sent in your resume. Now, if you put it in the applicant tracking system, you got about a 3% chance of it getting noticed, even if you're a dead bullseye for the job. So you got a 97% chance that nobody even ever saw it. Maybe, and I don't even know what you do, so it could be even 99%. So I don't know about that, but one thing I would tell you to do, because I can't troubleshoot, there's a million things that could be wrong. You're putting it in the applicant tracking system. You're applying for jobs that do not exactly align. Your resume and keywords are not matching. All the stuff isn't aligned. Maybe you're not a fit. Maybe they filled the position. Who knows? The one thing I will tell you is if you want better traction, you need to check out my 14-day challenge. And I think you could just, go type 14-day challenge in my YouTube channel, and you need to get yourself on a networking kick and how to go about doing that. So check the challenge out and do that. And then the other thing is I have a number of networking videos about job search networking that show you how to traffic your resume into a place not using the ATS, using your network. So I would highly recommend that. And I know that stuff works because we get tons and tons of emails every day from people inside my programs and everybody inside the community that sends me that, and on the YouTube channel and on my blog. So it's, I would take a crack at it that way. So I'm not sure. There could be any number of things that are wrong. Fawn's got a question. I got a job that turned out to be, hang on one second, I'll make a note. I got a job that turned out to be very different than advertised. What is the acceptable time frame I need to stay, or how do I explain my willingness to leave? Couple schools of thought. So Evelyn earlier in the program asked me, had been there 6 months. I don't care if you're there 6 days. You can, if you know that that's not for you, the sooner you're out, the better. So, when you're in an interview and you leave after 6 days or 1 month or whatever, you say, listen, out of respect for the employer and my own happiness, because I realized this was drastically different and I knew this wasn't for me, I felt it's in everybody's best interest that I move on. So I got with the employer, I let them know, I'm now on my way out, whatever. It makes no difference. I go right away. I place you, Fawn, and all of you, and everybody that comes in contact with me, I place your happiness above all else. I don't want you to be rude. I don't want you to, I'm not saying I don't want you to be rude about it. I want you to be ethical. I want you to have integrity. But I place your happiness, I place mine the highest, I place yours the highest. So whenever you get in these situations, if you are not going to be happy, there's no point in staying longer to make it look good on a resume or what we think is acceptable. So I think owning it in the interview process and moving on is the best thing. And the faster you do that, the better. All right, I hope that helps. Performance, drivers, society, college student, my friend, awesome internship, great. I want to switch my degree from marketing to communications. Does degree matter much after you are already in the door? Absolutely not. I am an electrical engineering undergraduate. I forgot Ohm's law the minute I threw my hat and tassel in the air. Okay, so no one cares. And when I went into my first job, I was sitting at a training table with a theology major, a history major, a computer science major, a mechanical engineer, me, and a business major. No one cares. And if you're in marketing or communications, they're the same. They are. They really are. I mean, when you get actually into work, like you get a job and you go to the company, it's not going to matter if you're a marketing major or a communications major. You have to learn everything anyway, and either of those help you become a good marketer or communicator. Tim Bissell, that's some good advice there. It's interesting. We have some people, they watch a few videos, they get a job the next day. We have other people, it takes them 12 months. Everybody's in a different situation. Sometimes people are in a job that is okay, and then they're just being, careful. We had one of those. We had a success story the other day. Somebody had been in the programs for about 12 months, super guy, very senior, wasn't in a hurry, but just kind of worked it and was careful and, ultimately got a job with Amazon Web Services, and it's a great story. But other people, depending on where you live, depending on how much you earn, what you're willing to take. I mean, there's a million factors that contribute to the length of time that it takes. One thing I don't want anybody to do is don't any of you that, are with, currently employed and you're thinking about quitting, it's totally okay. If you want to quit, go ahead and quit. But all the stats you hear about, it takes you 1 month for every $10,000, that's a bunch of nonsense. Anybody who tells you that, that's ridiculous. First off, there's no stats that are kept on that. That's just guessing, and they're usually trying to scare you. So, buy my program, that's crap. We have people that make $500,000 that can find a job in a week. So it's a matter of, do you want that job? So everybody's different. There's a number of factors. A lot of it has to do with your tactics. What I find as, the career doctor is that the reason it takes people longer, usually, now this is a general statement based on looking at many, many thousands of individuals that I have coached in my programs, usually the reason that their searches are dragging on are because they're focusing on the wrong activities. They're jamming their resumes into applicant tracking systems instead of networking. That's just an example, but that's what I mean. And if they exerted as much energy into networking and targeting companies and mapping their network and so on, as opposed to just looking for open positions, you get your job a lot faster. Well, some people come to the realization, sometimes they try all the applicant tracking system stuffing, they do that for months, then they break down and then they enroll in one of my programs, and all of a sudden things change very quickly because they completely stop doing all that stuff and they start doing other things. So it's any one of a number of reasons. And where you live, what you do, how much you earn, and all that good stuff. Stay positive. Keep with the community. Get my book. Jump in the Facebook groups. This book here, all you need to do, if you chip in the $7 and you get in a Mile Walk Academy account, you get access to our private LinkedIn group and our private Facebook group, the Interview Intervention Facebook group. And you can lean on people in there too. So job search is a lonely thing. It doesn't need to be. All right. Let's see. SLK, Dinesh, Wendy, hey. Robert, Eric, Weimer, I followed your resume template. I'm going to go back to what I said before, Robert. I really would highly recommend 2 things for you, my friend. One, actually, wait, let me make sure I got the right time things here. One thing that I would do, Robert, check out the free webinar, How to Find a Job You Love. That talks about the main tactics. Check out my networking videos on my YouTube channel. And I think if you alter your perspective, you refocus on the higher value activities of the search, I think you'll have better results. I really do. Jay Brown, how you doing? Minnesota Melvin, I love that. The Fixer. Jason, hey. Oh, geez. Melanie. Love this, Melanie. Love it. All right, Melanie, my boot camper. Do you have any tips on how to prep for a phone screen with a consulting company recruiter with no specific position? I reviewed the company's service offerings and identified how my experience applies. So, this is a great question. How do you prepare for an interview when there isn't a specific position? So, what you want to make sure that you do is there's the researching part of the prepping, and then there's the developing your questions part of your prepping. Obviously, you want to be ready for the common ones like, hey, Melanie, what are you looking for? Why are you leaving? Why are you open to leaving? Why did you leave your last job? What value do you bring? And all that good stuff. Okay, you got to prep all those. But when you look at the consulting company, obviously, if they're interviewing you, you have the background that coincides with what they do. Most of the consulting companies are service-based companies. Sometimes they're product and services companies. But regardless of what they do, whether it's a product or a service or both, you want to make sure that you know how what you do aligns to the types of positions that they have. One of the best things that you can do is go on LinkedIn, look by company, look for the company, look for the people that work there, look for the people that have similar titles that you have. People slightly above them, people slightly below them, other people that do what you do. Look at what their responsibilities are. Look to see what it is that they're doing in their function. Start thinking about how what you do aligns to that. When you get into the interview, and you should prep about the recruiter and everything about the recruiter, whoever you're going to be phone screening with. And when you get into that session, you want to make sure that you are asking. So I love this. I certainly can see, based on what your company does from my research as it relates to this, that, and the other, whatever, that my background aligns and would greatly support your ability to do that. What I'm wondering is if you can share a little bit about how you see my background fitting into your organization and what some of the possibilities would be position-wise for me to join. That should come out early, and it shouldn't even be a problem to get that out early. And as a matter of fact, you might not even need to pull that out of the recruiter. Because what a good recruiter will do is she'll say, hey, Melanie, or he'll say, Melanie, the reason I wanted to talk to you is I noticed your background really fits to this, that, and the other thing. And a lot of times that will come out. If it doesn't come out, though, you need to pull it out, and you also need to say, where do you see me? So you could do a couple things. Where do you need the most help? Okay, because that's really great, because then if you can close the gap there and you can fill where they need the most help, you're smoking. If you're not sure, where do you see me adding the most value? Line me up to the positions. So this might not be your hottest spot of need, but this is where I could hit the ground running and add the most value soonest. Okay, so you want to do those kind of things, and you want to make sure your questions are lined up for that, and then you as a boot camper know about all the happiness stuff, aligning all those questions and all that good stuff. But that's what I would do. It's a great thing. And looking at the people in the company, though, that's something that you need to do. That may sound obvious. Not a lot of people do that, but really, really dig. The other thing is, look at people that you could potentially report to, or the role. And there might be, in a consulting company, there might be a number of people. And in a consulting company, there's a lot of interchangeable pieces, and staff is being deployed to different projects. So, between June, July, and August, you got this one boss. September, October, November, on another project, you got a different boss. But generally speaking, who would you be reporting to? Are you a BA that would be reporting to project managers? Are you project managers that would be reporting to an account partner, and so on? So you want to try to look at what the next level is, what the level below is, and all that good stuff. That's what I would do. Hope that helps you. Oh, one other thing about the phone screen. I've never done a video on phone screening, but I have a nice article that I wrote on my blog that you can check out. And Melanie, in your package of the boot camp, I think it's, we simplified some of that. I might have pulled it out of that, but check that out on my blog. It'll help you. Tim, phone interview on Friday, which I am certainly qualified for. Love it. However, interviewer already informed me that he had 108 applications. How do I stand out? First off, Tim, the recruiter is not going to interview 108 people. So it makes no difference how many applications they have. It makes every bit of difference how many people they're actually going to interview. They're not going to interview 108. So of the 108, 98 were not qualified. Okay, so count on that. They're likely not going to interview 10 either. So they're going to pick 3 or 4 that they think are golden, and they're going to go at them first. You're one of them. Got news for you. So the way you stand out is you go get the interview intervention book, because there's so many things you need to do in order to do that correctly. If you want the crash course, go get the webinar, the interview webinar that I mentioned, 3 keys to ace any job interview. And the other thing for all of you guys, I have an interview playlist on YouTube. Go zip through it. That'll help you. All right. Let's see. How we doing? 100 some odd people. All right. Come on. We'll try to get another 10 minutes in here. Vicente Rivera Garcia, you are welcome. Oh, love it. From Mexico. It's one of my favorite places on earth. James, you are welcome. ESD. I don't know that I can help you stop your anxiety when anticipating big results, but I do a lot of meditating. That's one thing for sure. Zarif, in case of an employment gap, 2 years, how can I justify my stance to the potential future employer? Zarif, I got a whole video on that called How to Handle Employment Gaps. It not only covers the resume, it covers the interview, but straight away, I would not worry. What do you think about a video CD or cover letter? I'm not sure. Oh, Kim, don't do it. All right, Vincente, how can I put my current position in LinkedIn if I'm unemployed? You don't have to put unemployed if you don't want to. And I know you said, let's see, unemployed. Having this gives me a star finally, and apparently this is important to be noticeable. A star finally. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I would not. I don't know. I wouldn't. I mean, your current position is whatever you did last. So you can put the end date, or you can or leave it open. I don't, depending on how long you've been unemployed. Cheek, great to see you. Jen, Bengal baby, how are you from Vegas? Hey, Andy, let's see. Akshay, what can we put in the subject field of the boss hunting email? So this is a great question. If you are not familiar with my boss hunting technique, the good news is it is free and out there. And if you go to my YouTube channel and in the search bar, just type boss hunt, up will come a video with a couple of cover letter templates. All of you should have this. All of you should do this. I don't care if you're right out of college. I don't care if you've been working for 40 years. Makes no difference. It is the single best technique to get somebody to respond. So in the subject field, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. So, interested in working with you. Interested in working with you and your company. It doesn't have to be anything flashy. They will open the email. One thing that I would also do is look at the Read Notify tool and see if they opened it, how long it was opened, if they forwarded it, all that good stuff. That's what I would do. Alex K, applied to several roles. Okay, wait, I think this is a question. Make sure you guys are putting question marks. I have finds. Applied for several roles and now in different phases of the hiring process. At the moment, phone screen final. At the time I applied for all these roles, I was employed but decided to leave in the middle. Okay. What point should I bring this up? Now. Tell them right away. The longer you wait, the worse it is. So the minute you leave, it's okay to tell them. They're going to do a background check. They're going to check your end date. So it's going to come up. So better they hear that from you versus, hey, we did your background check and we noticed that, you finished last month, last week, whatever. I would just say, hey, listen, you know what? I'm actively interviewing. I really love your company. I'm confident that one of these options is going to work out. I'm really enjoying them. I thought it would be in the best interest. Now, I would not necessarily do that. I would not quit. But since you quit, that's probably how I'd explain it. And that, I just wanted to put my energy into this. I didn't think it was fair. Be a stand-up, be a stand-up guy. Well, I don't know if you're Alex, a guy or a gal, but, be a stand-up person. I decided I was taking so much time off to interview. I thought it was bad form for what I was doing to the employer, so I decided to quit. That's what if something like that is the case. Mohammed, hey Andrew, I have a 9-year experience as an electrical technician at a major oil company. Awesome. Followed by a 9-year gap of school failures. Major changing, struggle with mental illness. Okay, I am also about to graduate with an associate in architecture, but I'm stuck with that too because I need a job to support my family and fund the remaining of my architecture schooling. How can I tackle this in my straight on? I went to school. When you have situations like this, especially when they are as extreme as they are, you got to own it. So I had a nice run. I wanted to improve my life. I went back to school. As I got into school, I was recognizing that the things that I was pursuing really weren't for me. So I did some self-reflection. I finally got on the right track, which is, architecture or whatever it is, and so on. But now I need to return to work to, raise money for my family. Now, the issue you're going to have that I would be more concerned about is, well, how long are you going to work here before you want to go back to school? So you're going to have to come to terms with how you're going to package that. But I'm a fan of straight on. E-Dubs, 18-month gap in employment due to job elimination, was told to add a self-employed job. Well, if you actually were self-employed, then I would do that if you were self-employed. If you were not self-employed, and meaning you didn't do anything, then I would not do that. For everybody in a gap, here's what's important. The employer wants to know, why were you in the gap? Taking care of my sick parent. I went and traveled the world. I went to Africa to feed starving children. Whatever you did, I went to pursue a degree. I volunteered, whatever. I stayed home with the kids. Anything is fine. Any of that's cool because that's life. What they need to hear is, while I was, doing this, here's what I did to stay sharp. Here's what I did to contribute. Like if you're volunteering and you're in a foreign country and you did that, that's cool. But if you're, I'm in the U.S. If I decide to take a year off and I'm, just for whatever reason, the job was eliminated. What were you doing? If you were pursuing employment, what were you doing to pursue that? And what were you doing to stay sharp? They need to hear that. It's a big deal. Okay, let me see if I can get another one in here. Bradley, Garlic, struggling. Or Garlock, I think. Struggling after burnout from 25 years, a very successful set designer. After a much-needed break, I know I want to work for an interior design studio, but over 50, always been the boss. What's the question? I don't see it, my friend. Jeff Norris, I am pretty good interviewer, but I never show my personality during an interview. Do you think this is an issue in trying to connect with people interviewing me? I have no idea why you're not able to show yourself, but if you grab Interview Intervention, there is a chapter on friending the interviewer, and it's good icebreaker stuff. Try that. All right, let me see. Cheryl Curry. So I was told the job was mine. Then I got a call saying the person who was leaving has decided to stay. Is this a ruse to pick another person? No, I would genuinely believe them. This stuff happens. Let me see again. Alexandra, how are you? Hey, Andy, greetings from London. I'm a recent graduate, BA Product Design. I work as a nanny over 5 years now. How can I use this in my resume? I love it. What? It's not. It doesn't matter. Don't overthink this. Alexandra, you take the collegiate template that I have. Use that. It's totally great. I mean, it will be a perfect fit for you. Don't overthink it. If you're not sure where to get that, head to the YouTube channel. In the search bar, just type college. I have a whole college section on my blog too. All right, let me see if I can get another. Alina, good day, Andrew, and felt my little boot camper there. When being contacted by recruiters, how do you know when they're legitimate? They ask for a resume, do you send? So, Alina, I would generally assume they are legit. If you've got the name, so first thing that I like to do is, and I'm assuming rarely, because no one apparently knows how to use the phone anymore, they don't pick the phone up and call you. That's rare. And they don't do that because, number one, it's easier to send you a LinkedIn message or an email or whatever and just see if you're interested in speaking. Assuming that 90% of the time it's going to occur that way, I would look them up on LinkedIn or their corporate website or whoever they are, and I would just check them out. There's hardly anything that can go wrong with you sending your resume to a recruiter, but the one caution that I have that I would caution you of is when you send the resume, you want to make sure that you are explaining to them, I'm happy to share my resume with you so you can get some background. Okay? Please do not distribute my resume without my permission. Now, every recruiter worth their salt would not do that, but some are shifty. That's the thing you actually need to worry about, is that they take your resume and show a client, which is really stupid, because if you ultimately don't want to go and interview with one of their clients, it makes them look bad, which is why not a lot of them do that. But you never know. I would not worry too much about that. And if you want, Alina, for you, a couple things. I have a video on YouTube that is about working with recruiters. There's one for corporate recruiters. There's one for executive recruiters. I would take those in. Also, since you are in the boot camp, there is a specialty section in the boot camp about executives and over 50-year-olds. Now, I don't think you're either of those. However, in that module, I go into detail about working with recruiters. And so you might want to take that in as well. So try that. All right, I have got to run, folks. So let's see. Just so you know, real quick, next week is Appreciation Week. I'm here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. On Friday tomorrow, and for the next 4 Fridays, I'm in with my boot campers. That's really good if you can swing it and you want the boot camp, which is awesome. You get the boot camp. You get my Career Accelerator program, which is another $400 for free. You get the specialty sections. Check out the bootcamp page. Email support. Kara will send you a $100 off coupon if you want the base package. It's really good. And in those bootcamper sessions, I get to your questions because we have a smaller number of people who've paid for the program and who can actually show up for the live sessions. So check that out. The leadership program, it's really sweet. Check it out. We just did. I mean, if you've got to convince somebody at work of anything and you've got to put a pitch or a presentation together or whatever, that's what we did the other day. It's really good. The Goal Setting Masterclass, mid-August, the Interview Intervention book, and the Out of Reach book. I'll be trying to pull together a little family to help me circulate that thing. All right, folks, have a great weekend. We'll see you, maybe Monday, Tuesday with a couple emails, just a reminder about the Appreciation Week. And until next week, have a great one. See you soon.